of two local government areas, that is Owan West and Owan East. It has a total number of 13 clans and 21 political wards, according to National Population Commission 2006 census. The population of Owan people is put together at
Well, Barakah Day to all Muslim faithfuls and a happy holiday. There is no better way to kickstart your morning other than this morning on ITV. Welcome on board. I am Nuoluwa Stevens. So many things to talk about today, especially from our president's message to Nigerians and also the Muslim faithful, during the course of the holiday and the celebration. Welcome on board again. I have with me right here in the studio, Harry Igboje. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Nanu. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. So now, yesterday, precisely on Tuesday, President Bola Tinubu has said the sacrifices by average Nigerians arising from his tough economic policies are yielding positive results. Now, he made the declaration on Tuesday in a Salah message to State House correspondents while acknowledging challenges on the security front. President Tinubu made reference to a recent spate of killings and kidnapping by terror gangs, and of course he reaffirmed his administration's determinations to fish out the terrorists, and he also urged Nigerians to pray that those who commit crimes among us may rethink and abandon their evil ways or face the full weight of the law. And this got a lot of Nigerians talking, and we are still talking about it. But what do you make out of the statement coming out from our president?
Well, Nigerians have always been known to be sacrificial people, all right? We sacrifice every day.
Oh, it's like sacrificial lamb.
Well, I really wouldn't know if the rate at which Nigerians are dying is also part of the sacrifices, because people are sacrificing their lives every day. So perhaps that's part of the sacrifices he's talking about. But Nigerians have always been known to be, sacrificial. I mean, how else do you explain a situation where that you are amongst, or you live in a country with the highest or the biggest endowments, among the biggest endowments in the world, and yet you're living in lack, you're living in penury, you can barely survive, you don't have basic amenities such as light and water. That's sacrifice in itself. Okay, so for him to be saying that, well, for me, I can only hope that the sacrifices are actually yielding results, yielding fruits, like he said, because if at the end of the day we have nothing to show for all the sacrifices that we make on a daily, then it's really not worth it at the end.
Now, I feel like if we even begin to highlight every of, the part of the system here in Nigeria and see how all of the sacrifices have actually performed or how the policies are yielding positive results, I don't think we'll leave this table. But let's talk about yesterday, Children's Day. It was quite a sad one for a lot of Nigerians and for the entire Nigerians, especially on the street of social media and in Oyo State, Ogbomoso precisely, where over 2 weeks now, going to 2 weeks now, pupils were actually kidnapped. Young, bright future students were kidnapped. We also heard a situation where one of the teachers was actually beheaded, and let's not also forget, it didn't just happen in Oyo State. We've heard similar cases in Borno State, and yesterday it was one of those moments where a lot of Nigerians actually called out on the government. What is going on with the state of insecurity in Nigeria? Yesterday happened to be Children's Day in Nigeria, but it was really quite a sad one. Instead of a day for us to celebrate the children, they usually do say we're the leaders of tomorrow. I wonder when the tomorrow ever come, because I started hearing that since I was like 3, once I was pretty little, and right here I'm still hearing that. But aside of that, really, what really is the issue?
The issue is pretty simple. Nigerians are not safe in their own country.
And now it has actually scrolled out down to children,
yes,
which is quite sad.
Which pretty much explains why some persons tagged it a Black Wednesday, a Black Children's Day. Some persons actually said that there was nothing worth celebrating yesterday because imagine children. We can understand. Of course, nobody deserves to be subjected to the kind of insecurity that we experience in this country. But children who you said, and of course who we all know, to be leaders of tomorrow, do not even feel safe in their schools. Now it has gone beyond waylaying people along the expressway to kidnap them. They are now, invading people's schools, to abduct children. This tells you that the situation is getting out of hand. And just like somebody said on social media, I think it was on Facebook yesterday, Nigeria is actually at war, but we don't seem to realize it yet. We don't realize it because perhaps it's not a conventional warfare where everyone is taking up arms at each other. But the reality is that we are at war, because even a conventional war situation is not as bad as this.
Was it a case of Nigerians now being used to bad news, and the issue of empathy has died completely? Because every single day you wake up and then you hear bad news and you're like, oh, okay,
Yes.
oh, 50 people died, and you just go about your day like nothing even happened.
I think it's a natural phenomenon, for humans to adapt to circumstances, and Nigerians seem to have a very high level of adaptability, and that's pretty much, I can attribute that to the fact that we don't have solutions, like practical solutions to our problems. These problems are really not new. They are just getting worse. Okay, insecurity is not a new, it's not a new trend. It's something that has been there, for years. The sad reality is that nothing is being done about it. So it's getting worse, and Nigerians are getting numb. They are getting used to it. When you are subjected to pain, like real pain, it will get to a point where you probably wouldn't be feeling it anymore. So I guess that's where Nigerians are right now. Nigerians are getting used to, the terrible situation of the country, and we're just hoping, just like the president said, we should pray that God touches the hearts of the the kidnappers, so that they can refrain from their acts. But you see, that tells you what we've got into as a people. Where I think the president himself, that sounds like throwing in the towel for me.
I feel like he has nothing,
nothing, like needed, like he has exhausted his methods of dealing with the situation, and at this point, God save us.
Oh my goodness. Well, one time, I don't know if I should say one time, big brother of Nigeria or big brother of Africa.
Big brother of Africa.
I remember during the apartheid when Nigeria went to South Africa to do amazing stuff, and now we are actually bedeviled with a similar situation with insecurity in Nigeria, touching every nook and cranny of the nation. And this is where we are. Our president saying Nigerians should pray. So are you saying indirectly that the militaries are now prayer warriors that should pray? What is going on, Nigerians? Well, let me bring in my colleagues from Abuja and Lagos. Good morning, Abuja. Good morning, Lagos. Let's get your feel on everything that we've been talking about so far and what we'll be getting from your end today. Good morning, Joseph Kadiri. Happy holiday.
Good morning, Nigerians. Welcome to Good Morning Itv. Of course, as usual with PMI, so much to talk about. During the celebration of Children's Day yesterday, it was one activity that ITV actually organized, really. And of course, Nigerians have to talk about it when it comes to the issue of the welfare of children, their education, and of course their security. We cannot divorce the spirit of insecurity and the issue of education of Nigerian children. We have seen series of attacks, series of abduction, right from the one that happened in 2014, 14th of April, where the Chibok schoolgirls were kidnapped, and then that followed with Dabchi, and then with the Yauri children, of course the one in Niger, the Kwara, the recent in Oyo, and you just wonder, despite the program of the federal government, of course the Safe School Initiative, what's happening with it, and of course there are discussions around posting some paramilitary agencies to watch over schools, especially the civil defense, and then there are times that even the Peace Corps, volunteer to do that. What's happening? It appears for a child to go to school now, that child must come from a parent that they are well-to-do and can actually afford some schools in high-brow areas where the owners of the school, on their own take care of their security. But what it is in that section of the Constitution that says the welfare and security of every Nigerian has to be taken care of by the federal government. It appears that aspect has been jettisoned. But we hope that all that has been said not just on just vocabulary, but it should addressed by the relevant authority. And then, of course, the issue of election is really on the top burner. We have seen since ours, the African Democratic Congress has been collating the primary, the presidential primary of the three contestants, where at the end of the day emerge the winner with over 8 million votes, and Amici came second with 504 votes. 504,107 votes to be accurate, and then Hayatuddin followed Amici with 177,120 votes. Well, because it's not clear for Atiku to stand shoulder by shoulder with President Bola Tinubu to struggle for the soul of
Okay, Joseph Kadri, a lot of things have been said from your end, which is quite remarkable. We'd love to also get what we'll be feeling and getting from your end this morning at TMI or in Abuja studio. Connectivity with Joseph Kadri. Let's also hope soon we'll have our Lagos studio join us this morning on the beat. Okay, well, back to you, Harry. Now, a lot of Nigerians would say, amid all of what is going on right now at this point, we are still having to see politicians one way or the other indirectly campaigning for the 2027 general election. Is it a case of them being not in touch with the people and not in touch with the feelings of the people at this point and not even reading the room? Or is it a case of whatever it is that is going on, let's just go ahead, it's none of our business? I remember last week we had a conversation regarding governance. Is governance on the low at this point? And it's interesting to see how the conversation will keep on, coming up every single time.
Well, the Holy Book says that where your treasure is, there your heart will be. Absolutely. So I think their treasure is politics, and that's exactly where their heart is. They're politicking, and they keep politicking. That's the only thing they're concerned about. They really don't care. I think this actually is an eye-opener to Nigerians. Okay, so the next time you're going to the polls, know exactly what you're doing. You're voting for people who do not have your interest at heart. This is not in any way intended to kill voters' interest or enthusiasm in the hearts of the voters. But you see, you must ensure that you vet the person you're voting for, because a lot of these people are showing by action that they really do not have the interest of the people at heart. They only care about what they stand to benefit from the system. Isn't it even clear? Those of them that are in power today, those of them that are handling one political position or the other, they're just concerned about what they're getting. How many of them are actually giving back to the people? How many of them are actually delivering on the dividends of democracy? They're just there, to siphon and, of course, to embezzle wealth. And this is a sad reality, because it has been a recurring decimal right from the beginning of democratic dispensation. So one would have thought that by now, all of this would have been a thing of the past. But unfortunately, we still keep grappling with it.
Well, it's really a pathetic one, just to add my own 2 cents. Anyway, now let's move over to Lagos and see what we are going to be getting from your end this morning. Good morning, Messalina. What's in from your end today? Messalina, can you hear me? Okay, well, we're going to reconnect with Messalina pretty soon, and whilst we're getting onto that, let's quickly take a short break, and when we return, we'll move over to the national dailies today.
251,686. The people love tradition and culture. Historically, the people ancestors in deep quest to hand down on their future children a society of love and friendship.
ITV, certainly the best.
Benin Cultural Dance, a unique dance and quality dance steps of the Benin people. This dance is a vibrant mix of traditions, arts and beliefs, deeply rooted in the country's diverse ethnic groups and their rich history. The dance has artistic expressions depicting the people's history. Benin people have been famous for bronze and brass work, some of which is said to date back from the 13th century, especially ivory and wood carving. In Benin, the people dance to show respect, honor, dignity, which they honor. They dance to show royalty, as natives are seen in their numbers around their body depicting the symbol of kingship.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. If you're just joining, you're on to This Morning on ITV. Now let's look at a couple of national dailies today. We can start with the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, leading with a major headline that says, Tinubu to parents kidnap pupils in Oyo, Borno State. You are not abandoned. That's what he says. Abductees will be back soon. Second day, the governor of Oyo State assurance on page 4. Away from that, Nigeria is South Africa air cargo corridor cuts costs by 75%, according to the minister on page 7. Well, still on the front page of Nigerian Tribune today, in politics, Atiku emerges ADC presidential candidate. In page 15, or on page 15, well, pretty much not a shocking news to a lot of Nigerians, as some would say we expected this scenario to play out. Omar Agege quits APC amid Delta crisis on page 29 of the Nigerian Tribune. Lagos unveils new tenancy bill to regulate rent hikes, estate agency fees on page 5. External shocks, domestic factors pushing Nigeria's inflation higher, according to experts on page 6. Governors Mark PK and others lament insecurity, preach tolerance, coexistence at Salah. But you get details of the story on page 3 and 20 of the Nigerian Tribune. Federal government revives 417 grazing reserves to enhance food security. The subreddit says Malls plan to modernize livestock farming on page 4. Well, finally on the Nigerian Tribune this morning, health. Heavy marijuana use may increase lung cancer risk, according to researchers. Researchers warn on page 4. Well, I feel like that's all right now on the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Harry, I'd love you to actually react just a little bit before we go on a break as regards Atiku emerging. It's going to form our major conversation this morning, one of our conversation, Atiku emerging as the ADC presidential candidate. What do you make out of it?
I think I saw that coming. I actually wasn't surprised when I saw the news, and the part that actually got my attention was Amechi's reaction to the whole thing. And of course, as expected, he rejected the result and flawed it on every level. So the truth of the matter is, yes, Atiku has been in the game for a long time, and as a matter of fact, I think he's a way more experienced politician than Amechi and a couple of other presidents.
But Amechi has also been there for quite a long time too.
Yes, he has. But you see, when we're talking experience now, yeah. We're actually talking we're talking levels. Okay, the level at which Atiku has operated as far as the political sphere is concerned. Right. I think there's no basis for comparison between him and Amechi. Just my opinion, though. Okay,
well, politicians politicking at this point. Of course, it's expected that Rotimi Chibuike Amechi would reject it. Interestingly, yesterday was his birthday, and guess what? Atiku Abubakar posted him on socials, wishing him a happy birthday, and that really got to me. I said, Nigerians, politicians doing the Lord's work. But anyway, we'll quickly take a short break, and when we return, we'll move over to all the national dailies right here. Do stay with us.
ITV, certainly the best.
All right, it's great to have you back. It's still This Morning on ITV, and it's still the newspaper review segment. Now, we are turning our attention to the next paper, which is the Punch newspaper, and it is actually leading with the trending story. Captive Oyo Borno pupils cast shadow over celebration. And the writer there says, Tinubu Makinde reassure families as anxiety deepens over kidnapped pupils. Tinubu Makinde pressure families as anxiety deepens over kidnapped pupils, and rightly so. And of course, the next writer there says, Can NUT, parents demand action on abducted pupils. Teachers threaten shutdown. Can NUT, parents demand action on abducted pupils, and teachers threaten shutdown. And the last rider to that particular headline says, Ogun to deploy Amotekun hunters in schools as fear spreads. Ogun to deploy Amotekun hunters in schools as fear spreads. Well, it was a few days ago that we saw the Yoruba, what do they call him now? The guy that actually has been defending the Yoruba forests, Sunday Igboho, saying that he's just expecting or awaiting the nod of the federal government to swing into action. Well, we actually hope that all of that pans out well in favor of the people in the Southwest. And of course, above the masthead, capital projects get only 26% of FG's 12 trillion naira loans. And that's on page 9 of the Punch newspaper. Trump directive triggered anti-IC strikes in Nigeria, and that's credited to Hexeth, and it can be found on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. And Tinubu confers record 1,062 national honors in 3 years. Tinubu confers record 1,062 national honors in 3 years, and you can find that on page 10 of the Punch newspaper. Still on the Punch newspaper, Southwest on path to Northwest insurgency crisis. And that's credited to retired general, and that's on page 3 of the Punch newspaper. 2 Osun undergraduates killed in suspected cult clash. Not again. And that's on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. 2 Osun undergraduates killed in suspected cult clash. And finally, on the Punch newspaper this morning, Omo Agege dumps APC after senatorial primary defeat. Omo Agege dumps APC after senatorial primary defeat, and that's on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. Back to you, Anu.
Well, the Daily Independent newspaper is up next, and it's leading with the 2027 presidential election. As it says, protest the division follows Atiku's election as ADC candidates. Subwriter says Atiku scores 1,846,370 votes. Amechi, 504,117 votes. Hayatu Dean, 177,120 votes. Well, we'll talk some more about this today on the show. Shatima demands maturity tolerance ahead of 2027 polls, says Tinubu working to reduce economic pressure on Nigerians. Federal government committed to inclusive, quality education for every child. Who was speaking? Tunji Arao said, the Minister of Education right here in Nigeria. Well, still on the front page this morning, farm leaders demand reforms to end Nigeria's drug import crisis. On page 5, presidency seeks VDM's prosecution over alleged deep fake Tinubu's clip. Well, wondering what it is, you might want to stick around up onto TMI Socials today, because we'll dive right into this conversation on the show. Don't lose hope in Nigeria, ADC, PDP tells citizens amid hardship on page 29. Well, any other story that we haven't highlighted this morning on the Daily Independent newspaper? We haven't forgotten abducted students, teachers, Tinubu speaking, other security agencies to locate, rescue them. Now, finally, on the front page of the Daily Independent this morning, no Nigerian deserves to die because of election, says Bamidele on page 7. Well, I couldn't have agreed less.
All right, next on our radar is the Daily Trust newspaper, and it's actually leading with a headline that says, 13 days after, Borno Oyo pupils still in captivity. 13 days after, Borno Oyo pupils still in captivity. And that's rather sad. And above the masthead, former Deputy Senate President Omo Agege quits APC. Why? You might want to find out, or you can find out on page 10 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And next to that, rider says telecom operators' customers spent 9 trillion naira on airtime in 2025. And that's credited to a certain report. Telecom operators' customers spent 9 trillion naira on airtime in 2025. And that's on page 16 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Son who allegedly killed father over food lynched. Son who allegedly killed father over food lynched. Imagine the reason a son would want to take his father's life. That tells you how far or how low our humanity has condescended to. Well, we pray that both of them find rest. Okay, still on the Daily Trust newspaper. NDC to ratify will be as 6 parties pick flag bearers. NDC to ratify will be as 6 parties pick flag bearers. And that's all we've got on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
Well, it's on that note that we get to leave the conversation here as regards national dailies, because it feels like every of the newspaper has a similar headlines this morning. If it's not Atiku Abubakar clinching their ADC presidential tickets, it's our president reassuring Nigerians that the children who are currently in captivity in Oyo State and Borno State are not forgotten, as they are going to be rescued. And we also hear that the NUT has actually, called on an indefinite strike, which a lot of Nigerians have been calling out on them to react to the situation as regards insecurity with the children in Oyo State and Borno State. Anyway, before we take a short break and move over to our first conversation of today, to let you know that we're going to be having guests who would liaise as regards our president's Ide Kobi message, where he told Nigerians to pray that terrorists actually change, so that would, in that way, we get to end insecurity in Nigeria. And I will look at the role of spiritual intervention in combating banditry and terrorism in Nigeria. A lot of Nigerians have been calling out on pastors to, pray or to do the needful, protest, to go out. Let's hear your view on what is going on in the country. So we'll look at that, and we'll also turn our attention over to what actually is going on within the ADC. We hear that protest has actually, erupted with the announcement of Atiku Abubakar as the sole candidate, or the ADC presidential candidate in that region. And we'll also turn our attention over to talk about the courts granting Goodluck Jonathan, former president, the will and the freedom to rerun or to run for election if he wants to. All of this and more right here on the show after this break.
The Ugewe is the final ceremony of the series of festivals. It is one of peace and lightheartedness, following the more solemn of the ritual year. Ugewe is the festival of the Ewe leaves, a symbol of good luck and joy. It is the most popular of all that heralds the dawn of a Benin New Year, new vow, newness of life and freshness of life, and a new hope for the future. In the evening, the Ewe leaves are presented to the Oba of Benin in grand style in a colorful ceremony. The Ihogbe society, amidst singing and dancing, bring the sacred leaves that symbolize good luck, blessings, peace, and prosperity. Each of the senior members of the Ihogbe proceeds to give the sacred leaves directly to the Oba of Benin, and others put theirs at his feet.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about.
what I said.
So
So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something. You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them up or dragging on both sides, you cannot breathe. And these women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
Ọkọ̀ owó tuntun lọ́jọ́ bá yọ̀ fẹ́. Ọ̀bẹ tó
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, President Bola Tinubu has called on Nigerians to pray for bandits, terrorists to abandon violence, expressing a hope that those involved in criminal activities may still rethink and abandon their evil ways. So in his Eid al-Kabir message released on Tuesday, the president said that the Islamic festival serves as a reminder of faith, sacrifice, obedience, and national unity, urging citizens to embrace compassion, tolerance, and selflessness in the collective effort to rebuild the country. Now, we are, within the next couple of minutes, going to look at the role of spiritual intervention in combating banditry, terrorism, in Nigeria. And to do justice to this conversation right now, I have my guest joining live from Ekwema online. I have Ibrahim Momo. Thank you so much for joining and coming on the show this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Now, make it make sense. What do you deduce out of the president's message as regards praying for bandits and terrorists to change their evil ways for us to have a better security situation in the country?
Well, it's a bit funny, I should say, in the first instance, and then worrying at another level, and that what the president, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is putting forward as a solution is prayer. If Nigerians needed prayer or advice on praying, they know where to go to. Nigerians are religious people. They know the road to the mosque, to the churches, and all.
Ibrahim Momo, are you there? Okay, so it seems he is currently out, but the last thing I actually deduced from what he said was Ibrahim Momo trying to say Nigerians know the way to churches, knows the way to prayer house. So it's that, should that truly be the case at this point? Now, whilst we're still trying to regain connectivity with Ibrahim Momo, we'll quickly take a short break and we'll be back.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about.
what I said. So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them up and dragging on both sides, you cannot you cannot breathe. And these women would stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu-Gabriels and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
ITV, certainly the best.
The land of Owa is inhabited by the people with common ancestry, language, religion, economic and socio-political ties. However, irrespective of their subtitle differences in language and culture, they share common traditions. The people are known for their hospitality. Owa traced their origin to Benin Kingdom as a result for a man to find a comfortable place for living. The name Owa was derived from the largest and longest river in the area, which is known as Onwian or Onwa. It means one who makes merry in affluence.
Thank you so much for staying with us. You're on to This Morning on ITV, and our main conversation at this point is combating insecurity, banditry, and terrorism in Nigeria. Is spiritual intervention the way forward? That's the big question. Well, I have joining me right now in the studio, I have Comrade Solomon Idiobe. Thank you so much for coming on board today.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Viewers at home, very good morning this morning. And my brother here, I greet you. You are looking like a Yoruba man this morning.
Thank you.
I hope there's this nepotic thing not there with you.
Oh my word! I'm actually Yoruba here. Hello.
No, I'm not. I wasn't talking to you. I was just asking. That he looks like a Yoruba man. I didn't say Yoruba woman. And I asked if there's this nepotic thing with this.
But ironically, she's a Yoruba person here, so yeah.
Okay. Well, I wasn't talking to a Yoruba woman.
Well, we still have our guest to join in virtually, Ibrahim Momo. Hopefully, we reconnect with him shortly. But let me kickstart with you here in the studio. What's your take really on insecurity generally in Nigeria? And now with the president advising Nigerians in his Idekabi message to pray for bandits to change so that we have a better outcome with security situation in the country. What do you make out of it?
Does the country pray against what the country can handle? Is prayer part of the laws? It's just like saying that you are bringing to the courts voodooism, or you want to bring witchcraft as evidence before the courts. What happened in witchcraft coven? Can you explain it? Why then do we have military? Why do we have police? Why do we have air force? Why do we have navy? Each of these arms, whether military or civil arms, have their respective functions constitutionally provided for. So it doesn't make sense. Is this a Bola Ahmed Tinubu of pre-2014 or 2015 elections that saw President Jonathan leave in office? The same Bola Ahmed Tinubu we are having today? Is this the same Bola Ahmed Tinubu, of course, that we had as a governor of Lagos State that we are having today as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Or is it the speculative U.S. Bola Ahmed Tinubu that we are having? The question, because to hear a president with Donald Trump say to Americans to pray that criminality, banditry, or terrorism leaves America, America is launching and helping other countries that are in such problems. They don't pray it, they act it. That's part of the problem. Nigeria over time have been, immersed in this religious, ethno-religious political issue. If it's not ethnicism, it is religiosity or religious issues. When you hear there is a killing in Kaduna, they either put it as religious, Christian, Muslim. Then when you hear that there is killing in Oyo, it is either farmers' headers. Does farmers carry their fruit, their crops out of the farmland to go fight headers? Is it not the headers that comes into their farmland? I stood up one morning, I woke up to Anu, I gave her a slap, and I said, it's Anu Solomon's quarrel. Is it not Solomon that attacked Anu? Was it Anu that attacked Solomon? These are the questions. And so for the president to come out on a public television and say we should pray is a sign of failure. And I pity whoever. In fact, normally people like us do not want to start making comments about who's the next person you should vote or not. But it's a pity that Nigeria has missed it. If you go back on the ballot and say that's the man who promised you electricity and says if he fails, he should not be re-elected. And then people, I wonder how people sleep after coming to make lies.
Okay, so I remember when this administration came on board, it was tagged Renewed Hope Agenda.
Hopeless hope
now,
agenda.
it's in a case of hopelessness with our security outfits and even the president himself at this point for him to appeal to Nigerians to resort to prayer.
I know it's clear that what you see is a reaffirmation of the renewed hopelessness. But Ahmed Tinubu did not come with a renewed hope. If he came with a renewed hope, how would fear have left less than 200 naira to 1,000 naira? And as of today, we buy between 1,350 to 1,450, depending on where you buy. And most often when you buy, you don't get the actual quantity that you are paying for. And then, is there a renewed hope where, you know, geisha you used to buy for less than 500 naira is now almost 2,000 naira? Is that a renewed hope? That bread you used to buy for less than 500 naira is now between 1,008 to 2,200 naira? Is that renewed hope? That transport fare that you could pay 200-300 naira from Oluku to Ring Road, at most 400 naira. Now you pay over 1,000 naira. God help you, it doesn't rain. Is that renewed hope or renewed hopelessness? And so the comment of Mr. President is just renewing the hopelessness. Because if the president has not lost hope, he will say pray. He will say, I have directed the army and the air force to take charge. You can see there's bombardment in so and so place. There is, you know, there are possible fits, you know, we have recovered. We're not even talking about Sambisa anymore. Because when it all started during Jonathan, we're only talking about Sambisa, the ungoverned space.
Right.
Today, the Nigerian state itself has become almost a governed state. I saw on social media a few days ago, I don't know how true, because in this era of AI, a lot of things can happen. One of the criminal elements came to say they are in Edo, that whoever federal government is looking for them should come and look for them in Edo. And that's how sad it has become. That they will tell you this is our location. If you get power, come. And then the president is standing to say, there is renewed hopelessness, because Nigerians have become so helplessly hopeless.
All right, comrade, do you really think this is because it's a reflection of the lack of will on the part of the president, or, you know, the situation has gone beyond control, or it's something that they just can't handle anymore? Because for the president to come out to say, let's pray, perhaps he has exhausted all of his, strength. And now he thinks prayer is the last resort.
He lacks the political will. With all due respect, I'm not one of the fans of Yesin Wike anymore. I once liked him when he was working in River State, and I saw a man that was concerned about the progress of. So
what changed technically?
Oh, his wickedness, his arrogance, his dracona manner, his uncultured comments. Enough to say this, but imagine if it was a Wike as president, and you're talking about this banditry. You understand how you handle it.
So you think Wike has more willpower to handle the situation of this nation?
It's about willpower. It's about political will. Let me tell you, before late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua came into power, but there were more than enough bomb blasts, pipeline vandalism, arrogancy and thuggery, criminality, cultism, within the Niger Delta, where you have the Niger Delta militant, the Niger Delta force, Niger Delta these different, groups were springing up on a daily basis. But when late President Musa Yar'Adua came, he took in the political will. He didn't talk about fighting. He provided a platform. He called it reconciliation. He called it
amnesty.
Amnesty.
Yeah.
And the people embraced it.
But that's, do you think that worked in the long run?
It worked until his successor, who didn't have the political will,
sabotaged it.
They came with a 7-point agenda, and the man came as a vice president that had the same platform. Because when people, I don't want to talk about President Goodluck Jonathan, but when he came, one would have expected that he continued with the 7-point agenda. What did he do? He turned it around and said it was transformation agenda. Whereas the 7-point agenda was working. The man looked at 7 areas, 7 goals, and said, I would address this. If I address the 7 goals, it will address the Nigerian problem. And they were working. For instance, one of the problems, Umaru Musa Yar'Adua was not from the South, but he decided to build an international airport before Yenagoa Junction. And that project was almost 60% completed, if not more, before he passed. What happened? When his successor, who is a Niger Delta, who is from Bayelsa, whose province of the international airport was, very close. And you know what that international airport would have done for the South Southerners? He moved it into Yenagoa, wanted to claim land for inside water, to want to build airport. Where the project today? So how did I get here? I'm talking about political will.
Okay.
It's a sign of failure. It's a sign of weakness.
Okay.
You see, it goes to, when we hear things on social media now, we begin to want to look at it. I saw one video trending on social media from VDM.
Okay.
Saying, voiced.
The embattled video, the controversial video trending on social
now,
media.
when he said there's a leaked audio of Mr. President, some of us were saying, I was looking at the speech, trying to understand, is this real, is this true?
But the presidency has called it a deep fake, in fact AI.
No.
And they're going to persecute VDM.
No, it's okay. This government, leave them. These people, they turn black to white, turn white to black. Leave them. The comment of Mr. President has vindicated VDM.
Exactly, because I'm trying to make sense of it. If you're saying it's doctors.
It's doctor, but you are just saying it. Is that what I said, doctor?
What you are saying in essence is that it was,
okay.
So in all, I am saying that this government has failed Nigerians woefully.
Okay, let's
that is not to say that the entire membership of the
president.
Entire membership of his party are fake or failed. That's not the point. But because I think this is an era where we are going to vote. We are going to do selective voting.
Hopefully.
Yeah, there can be a better person coming out from that party.
All right.
There can be a better person coming out from another party. People should look beyond political lines. And political
Absolutely. Now, let's turn our attention over to Ibrahim Momon, joining virtually this morning from Ekpoma. Thank you so much for staying up until this moment, and glad to have you back. So, earlier on the show, you were having to share your insights regarding what the president said. But then again, we also know that Nigeria is a very, very religious nation. We've prayed, we've fasted. The other day, we saw members of the PFN stage a protest a lot of Nigerians have been calling out for. But is that really the solution at this point? Policy or prayer? Which truly is effective to end banditry in the country?
Well, my major issue with the president's statements is the fact that we didn't elect a prayer warrior or a religious leader. We do that with CAN, with Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs, and other religious bodies. We elected a president who, by definition, title is Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces and President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We didn't elect the lead prayer warrior. So I don't think that it was in the president's place to be telling us about praying for a change of hearts among the bandits. It speaks to two very serious issues. Issue number one is that perhaps the president doesn't understand what they elected him to do. We didn't elect the teachers to pray. We have enough Reverend Fathers. In fact, Nigeria is one of the most religious countries in the world. We have enough Reverend Fathers, pastors, imams, malams. We have so many marabouts. We have so many of them already. So we don't need another politician, prayer warrior. So it is not. It is what there is public policy over prayers. Yes, I can understand the idea of wanting to draw on religious sentiment because it is a religious season, the Eid al-Adha, the Big Salah. I can understand that. But that cannot be the main message from the President and Commander-in-Chief. Ordinarily, what one would have expected is that use the opportunity to call on those, because, you know, when you look at some of these criminals, they draw on religious connotation. Some of them will claim that when they are doing their evil, you hear them shout Allah Akbar, as if it is a religious thing, a religious duty. When they are killing Muslims, Christians, religious people who profess faith, Muslims and Christians, you are killing them and you are drawing on religion. So I get the point, you know, is trying to merge the season with the message. But that cannot be the core message. The Commander-in-Chief ought to command the armed forces that this is the time, as we celebrate religion, to decimate and go after these criminals who are stealing religious identity of faithful Nigerians. That, I think, would have been a better message, not the idea that the president's message at this critical time is about praying for the. If the band is going to change their mind, they will change their mind a long time ago. In fact, what weapons cannot do, is it prayer that will do it? It speaks to the fact that, for me, it speaks to the fact that the president is failing in his responsibility to protect, secure the lives and properties of Nigerians. That is my take on this.
All right, Ibrahim, you are currently in one of the places that have been considered the theater of modern day insecurity, EPOMA. Of course, we've seen certain things that have played out in that part of the country in recent time, how kidnapping seems to have become the order of the day. Now, from a first person's perspective, what would you say you've observed? Would you say you felt the president's presence in any form so far?
Well, I think if I have to be fair to the man, he has kind of, you know, rejigged the armed forces. Every time there have been failings. I know under his 2 years plus, we have had at least 2 chiefs of defense staff and 2 chiefs of army staffs. That speaks to the fact that the president is a form of dissatisfaction, especially of dissatisfaction with the performance of the sacked military of that the president will relate to the responsibility within 2 years of his appointing you, shows that he is not satisfied. So, in terms of putting the military on their toes, at least at the top level, perhaps means there's some movement. The president is showing that he's not going to take public funds for an answer. But what one can say is that up till this moment, all the actions, all the policies of this government have not yielded the desired result. There's a difference between motion and movement. There's a difference between policy statements and the end of the policy process, which is what? A change in direction or new public policy. If government is doing X, Y, Z, what is the result of that action? It's not enough to take an action to sack a military chief of defense staff or a chief of army staff. It's not enough to allocate resources in through budget to the military. The question is, has the military been able to decimate or nip in the bud the multifarious security challenges we are facing? Have Boko Haram been decimated in the northeast? Has the headers, the killer headers, which people call Fulani headmen, some people call the killer headers, have they stopped their operation across the north central? Have the bandits and those who are stealing our mineral resources in the northeast, have they been decimated? The result, this game, this politics or security, architecture, the result, the outcome The game is about results. It's not only about motion or action or statement. It's about the results. And so far, the results are nothing to write home about. That's my opinion.
Right, okay. Ibrahim Momo, thank you so much for that amazing analysis. Now, speaking about results and solutions, let me move back to you, Comrade Solomon. What do you think is that long-term standing solution that Nigerians need at this point to eradicate insecurity in the country? The other time we heard police, state police conversation come up. Is that the solution we need?
Communal policing.
Right.
Not state policing. If you listen to, I shared a video a few days ago, by a week plus now, of a program heard by the DGSSS, where he was talking about communal policing. He mentioned some areas in the north where attempts were made to kidnap people or bandits trying to enter, and the people summoned the courage
to repel them.
That you can never hear of banditry or terrorism in that area because they are on the watch. He mentioned two specific, I'm not able to remember exactly the names now. One of the names were a name that rings a bell.
Okay, in the northern region?
Yeah, one of the political leaders. I'm trying to remember so I don't miss it. Then his analysis cleared something or pointed to one fact, that community policing, I'm not talking of state policing, that's communal efforts.
Okay.
We go a long way in eradicating banditry, kidnapping, or whatever. Let me tell you, there's hardly any community that you see the killer headsmen. I watched a video yesterday, I was disgusted, where one header was in the heart of Abuja, was carrying cattle. I don't know if you saw the video.
No, I don't think so.
He was carrying cattle along central area, and then the man was recording that this in the heart of Abuja, and the header stopped him and said, "Don't ever try it. Don't ever. Why are you videoing my cow?" Was challenging him and telling him that he had a right to carry it, that they should go and remove the bandits inside the bush before he can go to the bush, that they all own Nigeria. That's how bad it has become. Now, I'm trying to say that there's hardly a community where you see these headers go without first reaching out to the leadership of the community, whether you call it Ojowe or Kayele, Enogie.
So I think that the leadership of these communities might be complicit in this.
There is hardly a community where you see criminality thrive that the community people are not a part of it. They know their community more than you. But another sad reality is that most of these communities have been abandoned by these young folks going out for greener pastures. The few negligible ones left, some of them have weak minds and poverty of the mind, if you like. And so they're selling. Have you not seen cases where people are arrested? They arrest people who go give them water, help them buy food. Are they people of their tribe? No, they are usually community people. They are the ones who run the errands for them. So the best way to go, like the DG said, is that they should look at the regulations to create people to guide their area. He talked about armament, disarmament, and rearmament. You understand how people can be trained to. I listened to a radio last week where a community was being praised on this your radio morning program, where they were praising a community that when they drove past, the community people came and they were sure that these people were not a part of this community. I think it was anchored Dauroro.
Yeah.
Now, that's the point I'm making. That the community people, because there's only a community where you don't have community leaders.
Right. They're
always there. Even if the entire youths, as it were, had gone for program, there are still people there regulating, collecting produce money, development levies and all. They can create a local vigilante system. I'm not talking of this, though the state security vigilante is doing their best. Yes, are doing their best. I'm talking of the real local vigilante that could be affiliated to other security outfits, but so that when they need extra manpower.
Okay.
They can easily get. Okay. That is the way to go. Right. Because like the DSS director said, DG said, you cannot depend on the army and the police at all times. They also have their limitations. In fact, I went to a division a few weeks ago, and I got to know that they did not have vehicle, not a single vehicle. Right. And the DPO was working hard to see how he can get very many individuals to at least donate a vehicle to them.
Really, really a sad one, but we really need to leave the conversation here. It's an unending war, the issue of insecurity in Nigeria is a conversation that's come to stay. But let's just hope that things will eventually get better. And just as the president said, in the spirit of the season, we pray that things will get better and that insecurity will truly end in the nation. Now we'll take a short break, and when we return our attention over to politics right here in Nigeria. Welcome back. Well, it's no longer news that politicians and politics is currently politicking in the country. It's more or less like a season of party primaries within different political structures right here in Nigeria. But now we'll turn our attention to talk about the ADC. Yesterday we saw presidential aspirant Rotimi Amechi and Mohammed Yahatuddin last night boycotted the final tally of results in the African Democratic Congress, the ADC primaries. Now, both aspirants on Tuesday rejected the results as they were actually being released from the states. They alleged irregularities, rigging, and content results. But the final tally, which was pushed forward till late last night, was concluded with Atiku Abubakar winning with 1,855,787 votes in 32 states right here in Nigeria, and including the Federal Capital Territory, the FCT. Now, let me bring on board Ibrahim Momo. If you're still with us, what have you been observing so far within the camp of the ADC? Now, let's not also forget there's also another faction of the ADC a couple of days ago that presented to Nigerians their sole presidential candidate in the person of Kachiku Udumebi. What really is going on?
Well, what is going on is disorganized, disoriented, and unserious opposition party, the ADC. The ADC has the promise. It has the personalities that can, well-known personalities, political personalities that can make a difference. It has, like, you've already pointed out people like Atiku Abubakar, like Rotimi Amechi, Mohammed Ayatuddin, among others. Across the state, in Edo here, we have the very, very, well-known political war horses across the country. But that party is in serious crisis. First, it has not been able to hold together the leaders it has garnered across the country. A few weeks ago, from the Northwest, you could call Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. From the Southeast, you could call Peter Obi, all members of the ADC. Today, they are no more part of the ADC. But even the ones that are remaining, people like Rotimi Amechi from the South, people like Atiku Abubakar from the Northeast, people like David Mark from the North Central, people like Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai from the northwest, people like Rauf Aribushara from the south, from the southwest. Despite you have these people still there seems to be no unanimity, no cohesion, no cooperation within the ADC, such that in a 3-horse race for presidential tickets, amongst Atiku Abubakar, Rotimi Amechi, and Mohamed Yatudin, 2 of them have rejected the outcome of the presidential primaries. In a 3-horse race, that's significant. 2 out of the 3 rejected the outcome. So if that's a party that wants to rule Nigeria, when it even lacks the ability to put its house in order, is that a party that wants to rule Nigeria? That's a question that we saw. What I see is a disorganized, a disoriented, and a confused group. With all due respect, I am troubled because multi-party democracy thrives on plurality, the options that people have. That's how democracy thrives. If you remove that plurality, then democracy is useless. So I find it difficult to understand why the opposition cannot, in their own enlightened self-interest, subdue their individual, personal, pecuniary, and peevish interests for the collective good. They may not win, that's not the issue. But they should provide at least a credible alternative, a coordinated alternative to the. But what we are seeing is disarray, is a party in disarray. And I wonder if this is the ADC's primary, how are they going to go to the elections against a very formidable Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led APC? That is the challenge I see with the ADC today.
Yeah, those who would say at this point, is the APC really formidable? But then again, another question thrown back to you is, with the kind of personalities that we have in the ADC, the big wigs, just as you said, is it a case of political personal interest, or do they even have Nigerians at heart, or all they're after is just to take over power from the ruling party? Is that the case right now?
Well, it's to put it so succinctly. What is happening today is that the main opposition parties, the anchor for their campaigns is, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago or 3 years ago? That is the argument. We are not seeing any policy alternatives. That is the first challenge with the opposition. The second challenge we see is that a lot of these individuals who are now seeking to rescue Nigeria, lo and behold, we are the same people who put us where we are today. Every one of these persons, is it David Mark, national chairman of the party, who was the former minister of communication under the military era, who once told us that telephones is not for poor people? Or is it the same David Mark who was Senate president for 8 years, 8 inglorious years? Is that better going to Nigeria? Or is it Atiku Abubakar, the man who has been vice president for 8 years in Nigeria, who has been a perennial presidential aspirant? Or is it Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, who superintended over the state that hosts the largest number of Almajiri in the country? The reality is that people can argue that the APC is doing a very bad job in governance, that the pains that are being wrought on Nigeria because of the reform policies of this current administration, the APC administration, is difficult for the people. People can argue this. But the question is, do we have an alternative, a credible alternative? Do we have a people in the opposition that can make a difference? That is where the challenge is. And people who can even put their house in order. We are seeing that today now, presumptively, we have 2 presidential candidates for the same political party, the ADC. We have a Dumedi Kachiku from one faction, and presumptively, we have Atiku Abubakar, who has now won the primaries in the other faction, the same political party. I'm not talking about the opposition parties broadly, just within one party, we're having that. So I think it's a group of people whose personal interest is that they also still need to learn from the APC, with all due respect. APC have done, people can criticize the APC, But you see the APC, when they wanted to seize power, take power away from the PDP, they had a primary. They had 4 people in that primaries. You had the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, Atiku Abubakar, Sam Unda Azaya, I believe it's also late now, former leadership, and then of course, Kwankwaso. They contested in 2014, 2015 for the APC ticket. Buhari won. They all subsumed their interest, the other 3. Again, we have in that same party, the APT, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was generally regarded within the party as the national leader of that party, who subsumed his personal interests. He didn't contest, just so that they can oust the PDP. But what have they learned? What has the opposition learned from that? When they did that, when they subsumed their personal interests, what happened was that they were able to, they were successful in the primary, in the elections. But what do we have today? It's something that is disturbing. What have they learned? Have they learned anything? At the end of the day now, tomorrow they will blame the APC for their own failures to unite and come together for the collective interest. This is my position.
Yeah, now, let me get back to you, comrade. It is a popular adage that a house divided against itself cannot stand. I think it's even scriptural. Now, do you think this is going to spell doom for the ADC going forward?
Was ADC ever ready for this election? That's the question you should ask. I said it's I've been issued that. I don't see. I started with the fact that I'm not comfortable. I was not. I'm not comfortable with the characters in ADC. I call them retired, expired politicians. But now it's another divided Congress, or if you like, dissolved Congress. You see, I've been issued. I knew that it was going to, ADC is all about Atiku, and Atiku.
So you think the outcome of the primaries is in favor of Atiku? Is that what you're insinuating?
It has been as clear as Mene take care of us. Like my brother Patrick Obagbe will say, visible to the blind and audible to the deaf. The handwriting has been there from day one. That ADC was all about Atiku's enterprise, Atiku Abubakar and Atiku and co. You know, so Obi saw this, that's why he left. Okay. The handwriting was clear.
Yes, I was actually getting there. You know, as much as we know that this crisis precedes Peter Obi, do you think his departure from the party might have compounded the crisis we're seeing?
No, the man saw it. The man saw the future. He knew it. He initially thought that it was something he could manage. But he knew that if he didn't leave us at the time he left, it would have been consumed, not just submerged. You know, so it's okay. It's okay. But, you know, that's the beauty of democracy. Let them continue. They are not ready. They are not an alternative. And
so which party is now the right alternative is the question. Should Nigerians now be tilting towards the NDC, or I hear Omar Eleshowore also wants to be on the front burner for presidential election in Nigeria, and we also hear that the court has cleared Goodluck Jonathan, former president, to run if he wants to.
If I were in Goodluck Jonathan's shoes, but I don't also think that he wants to run.
Right.
The Goodluck Jonathan that was former president should know that if by now you have not started campaigns, you are not contesting. So I don't think Goodluck Jonathan is contesting.
So what do you think all of this is about?
It's just distraction. You remember when he was visited by a political party the other day trying to beg him? He said, how many of you here have PVC? That contestation is not as easy as we. He didn't say anything meaningful.
When you say it's a distraction, who's the brain behind it and to what end?
Oh, I said something about the APC. APC can do anything. They can be very funny.
So they are more like the proverbial tortoise.
Of course, the problem of APC can be too long towards the APC. Although they themselves, there's this common saying that too many cooks spread the soup.
The road, yeah.
Two captains cannot lead the ship. That's what's happening to ADC. You have too many captains in that party. Okay. You have too many cooks inside that party. Okay. The other one will say put salt. The other say no, na Maggi na good pass. So that's the problem. So on alternative, we are still watching. But for a few of us who believe that there should be an alternative, we still believe that there's already an alternative.
In what? In what party now?
I do not know the political party. A lot of us look forward to a Peter Obi.
Okay.
So I do not know where he's going to anchor for now. It's not about the political party as it were. We just need an alternative.
Right. Okay, now let's also get final thought from Ibrahim Momo as we leave the conversation here. What's the future of opposition parties in Nigeria ahead of the 2027 election? 30 seconds, please.
It's painful at 30 seconds. But let me quickly say that one of the challenges we face is that political parties ordinarily ought to be ideological movements or groups. You know where people stand for, where a party and its people's members stand for. But what we are seeing in Nigeria is a lack of political parties. What we have in Nigeria is not political parties. Across board, these are all special purpose vehicles to contest and win elections, not to deliver the public goods, not to deliver democratic dividends to the people. That's not what we have here. So that is why we are not even sure of the opposition now, because because of the lack of ideology, what we are seeing is personality-driven parties or ventures. So we're talking of not parties now, we're talking about individuals, Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, because we do not have political parties in the strictest sense. So I think that the way forward, because for now, it's clear. A house like the gentleman in the studio already said, one of the anchors, a house very good itself cannot stand. So the mere fact that the opposition cannot find a way to come together means it's more or less fait accompli. Fait accompli.
All right, thank you so much, Ibrahim Momo. Thank you so much, political analyst. Thank you for joining virtually from ECMOMA this morning, and also for your great insight on the show as well. And I also really must thank you, Comrade Solomon Idiobe. Thank you for your time this morning. So let's just hope that we have a better Nigeria moving forward as we turn our attention and move over to the 2027 general election. Well, still to come on the show, something tragic really happened yesterday during the Children's Day celebration right here in Edo State, and we'll turn our attention over to it right after this break.
ITV, certainly the best. certainly the best.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really well.
In case you're just joining us, you're into This Morning on ITV. Now, as you are aware, yesterday was marked as Children's Day right here in Nigeria. In Edo State, we had a lot of children go to several places to have fun and just to basically enjoy themselves. But a couple of hours ago, we're getting feelers that chaos erupted yesterday during the Children's Day celebration organized by the Edo State Ministry of Education at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, as dozens of students reportedly collapsed following a stampede triggered by the use of pepper spray. According to fillers that we get online, that a security official actually did shoot tear gas, and some of the students inhaled it, and it actually affected them. So the event, which was organized to celebrate school children across the state, was disrupted after some male students of Ihogwe College allegedly made uncompromising advances towards female students at the venue. What really happened, we do not know at this point, but to make sense of what really transpired, we are currently being joined by Dr. Patrick Abojede. He is the CPS to EDSG. He joins virtually from Benin this morning. Good morning, Doctor. Thank you so much for joining. Please, what really transpired yesterday at the stadium? Right.
What yesterday, as you are rightly put it, and all 2 children were all at the stadium to have fun. And we had that fun to the maximum. It was filled to capacity with thousands of excited children. Excited children all came to participate in this activity. Okay? And again, to quickly correct an impression, there was never a stampede, neither pandemonium, or that the event was put to a hold for a second. You have your reporters who were on ground. Virtually all TV stations had their reporters, had their cameras. In fact, the program was streamed live in many stations. Children have never had this kind of fun in last weekend. I can tell you that. On mascot, there was entertainment, football match was played, you know, and there were a whole lot of them, a whole lot of fun. They had fun. When you say children, they catch fun, and it was fun. It was a big outing for them. All entrance exit to the stadium that was Gomoda Stadium were all open. So there was no issue of stampede because there was no presentation. Are you there?
Right, we can hear you. Please go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Yes, so I don't want that aspect to be clear. And there was never stampede, there was no pandemonium, there was no crisis at some.
Okay, so basically, what then happened?
Yeah, yes, exactly, that is the point now. The unruly behavior, as you have also put it, children will always be children. Happened at the exit gate, one of the exit gates towards Edebiri, on the side of Stadium Road. You should know the stadium very well. That was where that incident happened. And the bouncer, not even a security, not a policeman, as it was speculated, was a bouncer who was one of those that was manning the exit gate. Was the one who tried to mediate between the children who were, of course, with their ruling behavior there. Now, in his own discretion, decided to use that purpose to dispatch them in his own thinking. That was what happened at that point. And immediately, these things were observed. The deputy governor was seated, the speaker was seated. They went there to find out exactly what happened. And that was where the first aid started, and children were taken to a good specialist hospital. When medical care attention was immediately administered to them. And to the glory of God, no child was lost. Every child went back to their family that same yesterday. By 8 o'clock, we were still at the specialist hospital to ensure that everything had been put to proper check and procedures were followed. The CMD of the Edo Specialist Hospital, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, myself, other functionaries were there to ensure that the children were properly catered for. And they have all been united with their families. So we just want to say that this is taking too far. To the point that my own view, I want to believe that it is an act of sabotage somewhere. Because these children, you could see the excitement in their faces, you could see the joy, you could see the reunion with the teachers and the authorities. There was live band performance. Her Excellencies was also there. She had a great time with the children. They danced and danced. In fact, it was fun-filled event. Only for this chemistry and people are not beginning to think to pay the government in that life. Of course, we have the capacity of thousands of children gathering in one place. You should know that of course there will be one or two altercations between children. But then there was never an incident of pandemonium or stampede.
All right, Dr. Patrick.
I don't want to put that.
Okay,
right.
All right, Dr. Patrick. Thank you very much. Now, for an event of that magnitude, one would have expected that modalities were put in place to ensure that, or to forestall any possible situation of that nature. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you, please.
Okay, so I'm asking that given the nature of the event, considering the fact that there was a huge population of children in attendance, one would have expected that, the right modalities would have been put in place, because you made mention of the fact that the police were not on ground. Hence, the intervention of the bouncers who had to use pepper spray to disperse the unruly crowd. So my question is, what was the police, where was the police at that moment?
If I get you correctly, they were security personnel on ground. I think the organizers only needed to beef up of other areas. There were security personnel, uniform our conventional police security outfit. They were on ground. We also had vigilantes, we had medical staff, several volunteers. The proper arrangement was made to cover and to make proper crowd management. If not even for ordinarily, if not for proper crowd management, that we're talking about stampede or whatever. But there was proper crowd management, and I also want to refer you back now to get these things correct from your own correspondents who were on ground. This one is not on videotape. A popular program also. I saw them at the program. They all had.
Okay.
They were on ground, and there was nothing to show that there was no proper crowd management. There was a proper crowd management, and only for this little.
Okay, sir. Okay, Dr. Patrick. Okay, Dr. Patrick, we hear you loud and clear, and we really must thank you so much for finding out time to, make clarity of what happened yesterday at Samuel Ogbe Media Stadium. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, appreciate you. Now, we take a short break and move over to Abuja for more on the show. Please stay with us.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body.
This morning on ITV, bringing us to the Abuja Network Studio, where we'll be taking a look at World Hygiene Day. Of course, it's a day set aside to inform the people, particularly women and girls, on what they need to know concerning that time of the month where, of course, they have to, pat themselves to ensure that their self-esteem is intact. You know how it is when they are staying at that particular time of the month. Students may not be able to go to school. Workers may not be as productive as they should be, because at times they have to take, a day or two off, and that affects productivity. To do this, I have with me two able ladies in the house. They are so neck deep when it comes to the issue of menstrual health and women's issue. I have with me a very close, she's a women's wellness advocate, Lois Tofumi. Very good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
And then we have the lady in blue. She's a menstrual health expert, Jennifer Obehi. Very good morning.
Good morning to you too. Thank you for having me here.
So let me start with you.
Okay.
Yeah, tell us about why we need to create awareness on this day.
Okay. Talking about menstrual health, it's a very important topic that affects women globally. You understand? And it's an important topic that's not being spoken about enough, due to the fact that so many women are suffering from a lot of diseases, infections, and negligence when it comes to menstrual health and hygiene. Now, it's a problem that some people be like, oh, we always talk about menstrual hygiene. Of course, we have to talk about it because we have millions of girls, young girls and women in rural areas and low-income communities that are not able to get the care and information that they need. And due to that, it's causing lots of chaos in homes, whereby some children, some young girls, find it difficult to even communicate how they feel with their parents. Even when they are feeling uncomfortable, discomfort, or even irritation, some people make it feel like it's a stigma. Like, you can't talk about your period, you have to hide it each time you're on your period. You're not free to talk about it. You don't create a safe environment for us to talk about it. So now we're here to create awareness that it's a natural occurrence. You understand? It's a biological process that every woman of a reproductive age have to go through. So it's important for us to talk about these things, create awareness, and then make them understand that it's a safe word. Please talk about it. Share what you're going through, how you feel, and then if there's anything that is not usual, we'll find a way to resolve it.
So what should they be talking about? The cycle itself, some 21, 25, 28, 30, 35, depending on the category you fall into, which is, of course, biological, or the cramps, the low self-esteem, the inadequate resources to afford the gene packs. What should they be talking about?
Okay. For example, for a start, they should talk about how they feel. That's the first thing, because period poverty, it's really a problem, it's an issue, a global issue. Now you talk about the problem that you are not able to afford sanitary products during your menstrual cycle. Now, for the fact that you cannot afford those things, it affects your whole life at that time. For some people, they're unable to go to school. For some people, they're unable to go to gatherings where other people stay and they're comfortable. They shy away from these things. So now, talking about it like, oh, to even afford is like a luxury, and it's not supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be affordable. So they have to talk about this. I cannot afford this. We have to have measures. It's okay for people that are in low-income communities that cannot afford it. Things like reusable menstrual pad. Like, we need to find a way to teach girls how to make menstrual pad, rather. So it helps them to prevent any form of infection and poor hygiene. And also about like parents, talking to parents to encourage their girls' children. It's not just about telling them that, oh, if you are seeing your menstrual cycle, You have to be careful with opposite gender. There's too many other things that have to do with it right now. Because if you don't tackle some of these minor issues like hygiene during menstrual period, it can affect other things that can become a problem in the future.
So let's get to Luis now.
Okay.
Let's hear from you on the issue of awareness, because restriction. Some parents are enlightened to talk about it with their children, particularly girls.
Yeah.
Some, well, but they may not have, they don't see it as a big deal. You will dress it yourself. So let's hear from you.
Okay, so World Menstrual Hygiene Day is a date that is symbolically chosen. The 28th now, because it's late now, reflects on the average cycle. And then, month, that is still, it's talking about flow, right? And that's why it's then. And I'm starting from this before going into your question. The theme is together for a period-friendly world, right? Where each and every one of us can understand, what menstrual hygiene is, what menstruation is, what menstrual health is, what period dignity is, right? And with the understanding of some of these things, we're now able to act on it. Now, going back to parents, majority of the time, it's always the mothers that do all of the talk, or the teachers, or NGOs that take part to school and say, okay, let's exercise. And that's because of that the world is evolving. Before, we don't have some of this information. Everybody you just have your period and you're like, oh, I'm seeing blood, everybody has their story if you're not in Gen Z, because I think the Gen Z has had, information. Everybody has their that. There are still medical things that we're supposed to be aware of, and that comes from information. And I think that these days significantly selected so that we can have some of this information. What are the do's, what are the don'ts of menstruation, of menstrual hygiene, of menstrual health? Because menstrual health is, like the social, psychological well-being of a woman during her menstrual cycle. Right? Of menstrual, and all of that in total. And with all this information as an adult, you are able to convey this information to each other and make them understand that menstruation is not a punishment. Menstruation is something that is very vital to you as a human being. There are myths around menstruation and all of that, but it's important that we get the right information so that we demystify some of these myths so that we can give a period.
Okay, so now for what we are saying, we have more information.
Yes, sir.
But it should that be passed? Should it be passed when they started, before they start? When is the appropriate time to pass it?
Okay. So, I used to say that to instill information in the child when the child has begun to start understanding things, right? Before the child goes into puberty, that's when you can start instilling this information. When they to understand, right? And to gradually start all this, educate so that when after this stage of body grows from this to this, you begin to notice this and this, so that when the child gets to that particular thing, the child is that, oh, something is happening. I have hair here, I have hair here, all of that. So when the child starts understanding this, starts keeping the child, so from there the child goes into puberty. Before the child even goes into menstruation, the child already that, oh, before this particular thing, particular thing, and then menstruation is not just physical,
Do you understand? Just like, oh, menstrual circle is the time of the month that women just want to be by themselves, are just bleeding and all of that. That's just the basic knowledge that most men have. Now they need to understand that when they're on that time of the month, just know that most women have different hormones. You understand? And then let's not compare. We tend to compare people. And they'll be like, ah, my sister, she used to go through a thing like this, and then she doesn't act this way. She doesn't behave this way. Why is your own always different? No. Women are different. No two bodies are the same. Understand that they're in that period of time. Just give them space. That doesn't mean you won't communicate with them. But I think you should be more sensitive and then choose your words carefully. Don't make them feel like it's a problem because they just want to be by themselves and not want to relate freely like they used to. For the fact that you know them, that, oh, this is not how Mrs. Adeyemi acts on a normal day, and then she's acting this other way, just at that point, the least you can do, maybe offer them something like, oh, would you like me to get you water? Feeling down. As a woman, if you're feeling nothing, it's a nice. It really happens. I think there's a level of pain and bleeding that if it's not uncomfortable, sometimes you will have to go to the hospital to seek for medical attention. Sometimes you don't just assume, oh, it's period. Everybody goes through it. Just handle the pain. No. Some things are not okay. They are not normal. Know how to manage it. Like we know.
Richard didn't want to die.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about
what I said. So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice?
And it's at your own expense. Yes, exactly. So you should know that, oh, at this time of the month, or this is when my circle comes. So you prepare ahead of it. You go to work with it. You can just place one solar disc, or you take warm water. You just know what to do to just yourself. So every other person around you, yeah. So every other woman, every other person around you, don't hated in that circle and wrong noted of table. So we just educate. You should know if someone is going. This is how as well how to things. Just
no, it could be something different.
Yeah, it should be something different. No, we're talking about we're just talking about like when you feel like she's going through that menstrual circle already. That's when you feel like, okay, you assume that that's why she's acting that way. For you to assume, maybe you already know her to a reasonable extent, because if you don't know her or even have a very close relationship with her to know she's on her circle, you can't just assume that, oh, because she's down, she's on her circle. Sometimes people can just have mood swings.
I know that there's a new discussion around tobacco.
Okay.
Drug pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how can we be up to speed with that?
Okay. When it has to menstrual poverty, I think one of the things we have to put in place is a clean toilet and water. Because we can't talk about hygiene when it comes to menstruation without having water. It's a necessity. Most rural areas don't have clean water. There's no how you can be on your circle and then you have to maintain yourself and you're trying to make use of water that is not clean. It will complicate things for you. It can cause issues. So we have to provide good toilet, affordable sanitary products for young women.
There is menstrual poverty.
Yes.
Okay, so I walk around, things we talk most times about austerity measures and some of the issues, economical issues that are happening in Nigeria. And there was a time where we were talking about the taxes that are on the pad for women. And it's a very painful thing. And I think that is something that we need to really talk about and enforce, because in our state we talk about some of these austerity measures, maternal mortality rates and some of these things, and we see the numbers. If a young girl cannot, because I don't think there's any pad that is less than 1,000 naira, 800 naira now, and that is a lot of money, for a parent, for some parents,
Yes.
even the average parent, every month to support a girl.
Usually if you have more than one.
The government can help to subsidize pads for young girls. That will help, so much. And we're talking about providing pads in public places. We were talking about gender responsive public service some time ago, and I think that menstruation, menstrual hygiene, menstrual health should be part of, this gender responsive public service that we're talking about. So if we can implement, putting in public places, hospitals, toilets in the banks,
restaurants,
instead of just leaving them, in the issues in the toilet, also implement putting pads in some of those places. That will help.
I know some countries are doing that now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to their toilet to see things that, because at times, it's what is available that has no value, right? But what is not tends to be valuable. If you go to the if you are able to make it to the deep blue seas, you can be able to pick some diamonds there. But how do you go there? You must go with oxygen. So the oxygen makes it very expensive for you to dive.
Get there.
But there are places where you see stones. There's no value, right? But there are some areas that are in need of those that are in your domain. So when a woman, no matter how rich she is financially, and it happens to her in a place where she cannot get
access,
it becomes very valuable. So can we say that organizations, government agencies should begin to allocate resources to have these things portrayed and displayed in the toilets?
Very important. It's a call for help, right? I was telling somebody yesterday that menstrual hygiene day, this year we should do it as a call for help. Everybody should be hands on deck, right? Each and every one of us, what are your responsibilities to help a girl child? As a teacher in the school, as a community leader, as a woman leader, as the head of MD of an organization, a bank, or wherever it is. It's our responsibility, whether a man or a woman, right? Doesn't matter whatever the gender is, because it's important that both the men are also sensitized on this particular issue. So let's start effecting some of these things. Let's not keep talking about it, but action.
Okay, thank you. Let's get you in 30 seconds.
Okay. Same about how the government.
How we can have, the sanitary pads available.
Okay, just like she had mentioned, one of the ways we can do this is by coming together as a community, irrespective of who you are, either a male or a female, because you can be a male, you have sisters, you have wives, you have friends that are females, and then they need this product as well. So we should come together, try to make it available. Just a few days ago, I was part of the Pad Up campaign we did, and then we provided pads for young schoolgirls available. We gave them pads. So we should all come together and make it like a movement, not just a movement. We need to create confidence and dignity for a period-friendly world.
Thank you so much, Jennifer Obehi, for your time with us on the program. And then
welcome, sir.
Tofumi, thank you so much.
You're welcome,
all right,
sir.
This is where we wrap up this discussion. We now move to Lagos studio for continuation of the program.
Many thanks to you, Joseph Kadri, and we're still on TMI this beautiful morning on ITV. I am Marcelina Unko, and our guest this morning is Apostle Jeratin Oshudin. He is a political analyst. He would be helping us. He would help us analyze to this topic. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Marcelina. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming. All right. While schools celebrated Children's Day, some children and teachers are still kidnapped, or they're still trapped in insecurity. Families of the victims, yesterday they could not celebrate because their loved ones are still missing and are still in danger. It has raises question about how safe are Nigerian children. This is really, really sad. I mean, it breaks my heart yesterday to know that, some children are still trapped, in the hands of this kidnapper insecurity. And we celebrated Children's Day yesterday, and also the Muslims celebrated Salah. And seeing also that politicians are, campaigning for the forthcoming 2027 election when our children are still trapped with these kidnappers. This issue of insecurity has been a major problem that we've been battling in Nigeria, and it is still occurring and occurring. And what the people want is just a lasting solution. I mean, school used to be safe spaces, but now many parents fear even sending their children to school. Kidnapping of students and teachers have become a repeated issue in some parts of the country. Today, make it the 13 days these children from Borno State, from Oyo State, people are still in captivities. Even the teachers also, the teacher that was beheaded, some teacher, the 2-year-old boy is still there. I mean, this really breaks my heart. What is the president doing about it? What are the people, I mean, the government, federal government, state governments, what are they doing to help curb insecurity in the country? When will insecurity end? So that is what we'll be talking about today on TMI from our Lagos Network studio. Apostle Geraldine, how painful it is for some families yesterday to spend the Children's Day without their children. They are worried instead of celebrating the children, but they are worried because those children are still in the hands of kidnappers. What would you have to say? Let's get your take.
Oh, well, my dear, it's so sad. I think I was expecting the government even to declare that yesterday, Children's Morning Day, not celebrating day. But meanwhile, before I go deep, let's actually understand what is Children's Day for. Why was it dedicated? What was the initiative? I think it was just to celebrate childhood, promote children's rights, all right?
Okay.
Then looks as issues arises over the children's affair, like in areas of education, health care, and protection. Right. Then you look at the Nigeria today we have, in these three things I mentioned, you will discover that the government have failed the children. In education, in health care, in protection. The government have failed the children. The so-called people in the government today will know what they enjoyed in their days as children in schools. In terms of education, how the then government encouraged them to be educated because they were the future of the nation. Today, it's like the people we have in the government don't even want the future of the country. And by so doing that, they are not caring for the children, about the welfare, their health care. You can imagine 13 days in captivity. No noise from anywhere. And I was expecting, even if not the whole Oyo State, and that particular community where this incident took place, that the women should come out yesterday as the Children's Day and demand for the whereabouts of lost children. It looks as if Nigerians are okay with it. It looks as if we're okay with it. Not even on radio, not on television. And people were still busy carrying their children to civic center, to this and this, to celebrate where they are made in captivities. No, I don't think they even know their whereabouts. Their whereabouts is not known up to now. The federal government is silent about it.
No,
so my dear, it's a concern.
Interesting, it's a concern. Tinubu has said something, the president has said, he has assured that the children are not abandoned. That means that they would, even the governor of Oyo State, Makinde, Shea Makinde has also said that, he has given his assurance that this, they would find the children. But it breaks my heart so much to come to the fact that, yesterday was Children's Day. I saw couples of celebration, lots of celebration. I even a few days ago, I saw some persons posting on the internet, this period, it's cold. This period, it's raining. I guess rainy season has started, and somebody posted, and that particular statement got to me like, okay, you're in your room right now, you're covering yourself with duvet, you're covering your children because it is cold. What about those children out there? What about the 2-year-old boy out there? How are they even sleeping under this cold weather? How are they faring? We don't even know what is happening. And yesterday we saw celebrations here and there. I mean, it is really, really heartbreaking to see that the issue of insecurity keeps, we wake up to different story by the day. And the people are not asking for much. What they're asking for is just a lasting solution. Do you really think we can get a lasting solution to insecurity in this country? Because it's looking like the governments are prioritizing, the forthcoming election. And I mean, insecurity is something that is supposed to be our #1 priority. The people are just asking for a safe space. You're there, you're in power, you're meant to protect the citizen, you're meant to protect us. But what we are seeing, it's not what we are ought to see. It's just like they're politicking, they are campaigning. That is what that is what they had in mind at this point, instead of looking at the issue of insecurity. Let's get your take.
All right. Let me start from one of the statements from you, that the president have said something. Even the state governor have said something. And let's take an issue that it was their children. Would they just have said something and kept quiet? No. They're going into action. What measure have they taken? 13 days now. What measure? The whereabouts about the children is not known yet. And the president have just said something. It looks funny. Should he have been his child? Would their children have been involved? By now, the military men, the police, the security, every other security in this country would have been in action. It wouldn't have, if the government wouldn't have mind to buy some helicopters to fly across all the bushes or deserts just to locate where these children are. But because it's the children for the poor, the common men, and like look, now the government is 27 yet on ground. No, but you can see the preparation for this next election, 2027. They are busy digging out money just for them to come back to power. But 2027, when you see a little bit, this is an issue on ground. It's not a affair with them. So I believe that this security issue is part of the government, this insecurity. I think they use it to gain an interest on the common man. What do I mean by this? That with these levels of things now, they keep us at base. You understand? For them to do whatever they want to do on us. For them to remain in power, servitimizing us. They know too well that if the security is tight and everybody is free, they may not have their way this way. So I believe it's all for their benefit.
So you believe that the government is benefiting from
yes, of course. If not, they would have done something. Let them prove us wrong, that they are not benefiting anything from this security by making sure that they fight it out. So I'm throwing to them as a challenge that they are benefiting from it. If not, let them come out and tell Nigeria that they are fighting insecurity. You understand? So it still sounds funny on my ears that the president, somebody also said it, just as you mentioned, one of these days we were doing some arguments, saying, but the president have just said something concerning that he condemns it. Then I asked the person, would it have been the president that kidnapped? Did you think Nigeria would sleep in 24 hours? Would it have been any of these ministers' child they kidnapped? Do you think Nigeria will be at peace? The police will rest? Neither the army? Well, because it's the children of the common man, and if they allow us to have our freedom, they won't get to where they are. So let them use this as a tool to cage us, to enslave us. So I'm telling you that the government knows about it. I throw it to them. Let them come out and tell us they don't know.
Yes, some weekend made a statement few months back where he said, I don't know if you saw the video, if you came across the video, where he said, oh, I don't believe in banditry. And under that particular post that he made, a lot of persons were saying, I mean, you walk around with securities. Your children walk around with security, so you do not know. I mean, you should know that these things are happening. But he came on the internet to say, oh, I don't believe in banditry. And a lot of persons attacked him on that post, saying, why would you believe in banditry when you walk around with securities? I mean, you should just go out without securities and see what's happening out there.
Yeah. You see, if I've just happened to be a president of this country, number one thing I would have just done, first of all, if we really want to fight this insecurity, you understand? All these ministers, all these political elite and others, stop them traveling by air. Let everybody go by road, the same way the common man goes. You understand? Let them be, if there is an attack on the way, they are also trap. They fly, I will agree with him. He may not know. Why? Because you just measured it. You go around with security men. You understand? Anytime he's traveling to his village, he fly by air. So a minister or a senator that goes on air from Lagos to Benin, or from Benin to Calabar, or from there to, you tell him there is banditry within Ore and Benin. How will he know? You understand? So during the election, in the next few months, you see the politician coming down to the root level to align with the common man. Immediately after the election, they claim vacuums. They don't go by road anymore. None of them live in their village. They stay in the city. Is the senator supposed to live in Abuja? No.
I mean, anybody can live wherever they choose.
Well, that is not how it's supposed to be. They're supposed to be in their district.
ITV, certainly the best.
The land of Owa is inhabited by the people with common ancestry, language, religion, economic and socio-political ties. However, irrespective of their subtitle differences in language and culture, they share common traditions. The people are known for their hospitality. Owan traced their origin to Benin Kingdom as a result for a man to find a comfortable place for living. The name Owan,
where they report every morning, and any time there is a meeting in Abuja, they go there. So they will be what is unity. They with their community or their district straight to Abuja. The money they would have been using in paying for their offices, paying their secretaries and others, they use it to lodge in hotels.
So now it is not just the fault of the federal government, the state government and the local government now.
All down to the councillor. Even councillor in my area, the moment they want to leave his village, and go to so they create a vacuum that don't even make them to feel for the.
At the same time, I keep asking, why are schools keep being their tags? Because for some kidnappings, I mean, some persons kidnap. Majority, their focus is on kidnapping children. And I said, why?
I want you to believe with me that the government know what they are doing. This again is a profit to them. By doing that, they put more pains to parents and fears. They send fear to the they send fear to the common man. They don't even want to. Now you find it difficult to send your child to school. Why they are children are in school and abroad, well protected. Even the ones here, they go with security. So they want to raise early, want to live to their children. Why we poverty to our children? They don't want us to see the light.
We saw a video of the president where he meant to say, when the primary election, is security and also look at the economy. I mean, I spoke about it with somebody, and the person was like, "They are just mere words, because is campaigning to come back for the next term. So these are just mere words." The president, campaign words. What would you?
The present government, did they have anything to campaign with? No. Even the previous election, I looked at some of the campaigns, I heard him in some of the stage. It's just that Nigeria are not careful. We are mentally slaves, mentally poor. You understand? The moment we belong to one party, whatever you say, whatever you do, that is where we are. You understand? Everybody start backing it up. This present government never promised us good things from the one of the campaign in 2022.
ITV, certainly the best.
A very beautiful morning to you, and thanks for joining us on ITV News for this time. I am Harry Igboje. We'll begin with NTA Benin Network Center on Wednesday organized Children's Day party with several dignitaries in attendance, including the former governor of Edo State, Chief Lucky Gbenedion. Joy by Sagmo reports that the celebration themed Young Voices, Big Impacts took place at the NTA Pavilion on TV Road, Benin City.
The NTA Benin Children's Day celebration came alive with excitement as pupils from various schools across Edo State gathered alongside management and staff of the Network Center to mark the special occasion. The event featured a variety of entertaining and educational activities, including cultural dance performances, march past, essay competition, spelling bee, and dance contest, all aimed at showcasing the creativity and talents of children. Chairman on the occasion and former Governor of Edo State, Chief Lucky Igbinedion, represented by the Managing Director of Independent Television and Radio, Engineer Elvis Obaseki, commended NTA for organizing Children's Day Party, which created a platform for children to exhibit their talents.
This is your day. The best thing you can do to yourselves, especially at this stage, is to be very well behaved.
Other dignitaries at the event, including the Special Advisor to the Edo State Government on Women Mobilization for Edo South, Itoan Osaon Edokpolo, and the Father of the Day, Chief Dan Obi, represented by Ozono Emmanuel, commended NTA Benin Network Center for promoting talent, confidence, and social interaction for children.
The NTA management and the children are celebrating. We should take time to also to reflect the children that are in the hands of kidnappers.
The good work you are doing in the life of our children, we sincerely appreciate.
In her remarks, the Zonal Director, NTA Benin Network Center, Mrs. Tenny Ajayi, said the celebration was designed to give children the opportunity to express themselves, nurture their talent, and contribute meaningfully to society development.
It's how we invest in the confidence and talent of the next generation.
The high point of the celebration was the presentation of awards and prizes to winners in various competitions.
Thank you for bringing up this wonderful program to enlighten us.
And I'm grateful for my school for opening me to such opportunities.
From Benin, Joy Obaisiagbon, ITV News.
Edo State government says it remains committed to improving education, sports and opportunities for children and young people across the state. Governor Monday Kwebelu stated this at the 2026 Children's Day celebration held at the Samuel Ugbemudia Stadium in Benin City. Deborah Ugbefun has more.
School children from the 18 local government areas of Edo State transformed the Samuel Ugbemudia Stadium into a colorful arena as they exhibited talents during the 2026 Children's Day. Their voices echoed across the stadium with messages of hope, unity and confidence. Governor Mondo Kwebelu, represented by the Deputy Governor Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa, arrived at the venue alongside top government officials and was warmly received by the excited children. The celebration featured march past and other entertaining presentations. Governor Mondo Kwebelu, through his deputy, reassured Edo children of his administration's commitment to their future.
We remain fully committed to protecting the rights and dignity of every child. We shall continue to strengthen policies and programs that will promote child protection.
In their goodwill messages on this year's theme, Choose Kindness, Reject Bullying, the coordinator, Office of the First Lady, Mrs. Edesili Okpewolu Anani, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Edith Ebomoyi, and Nollywood actress Nasi Sime urged children to embrace love, tolerance, and respect for one another.
Let us continue to create a peaceful, safe, and supportive environment where our children can learn.
High point of the celebration was a cutting of the Children's Day cake alongside the presentation of medals and trophies to winners of the governor's football competition.
From the excitement, the laughter, and of course the spectacular performances of these children here at the main bowl of the Samuel Ugbemudia Stadium here in Benin City, there is no doubt that the 2026 Children's Day celebration organized by the state government will remain a memorable day in the lives of these future leaders. In Benin, Deborah Obefo, ITV.
As Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark this year's Children's Day, Independent Television and Radio says children are worthy of honor and celebration as they remain the future leaders of tomorrow. The Acting General Manager of ITV and Radio Abuja, Stephen Ojo, stated this on Wednesday during a special Children's Day celebration organized by the station for secondary school students in Abuja. Augustine Innocent reports that ITV and Radio also called on parents to always allow their children to interact freely with their peers to boost their intellectual and social development.
The Independent Television and Radio Children's Day celebration brought together students from Emory's College, Newton National College, Ruth Grace Cosmopolitan Academy, Golden Concept College, and Confidence High School to the station's premises in Abuja to mark the occasion. The event featured debates, fashion parade, march past, and cultural dance presentation by the participating students. One after the other, winners of the various competitions were announced. Speaking at the event, the General Manager of ITV and Radio, Stephen Ojo, alongside the Head of Independent Radio, Ene Okon, said children deserve to be celebrated and encouraged. They also urged parents to always allow their children mingle and interact with other children during celebrations such as Children's Day to enhance their learning and exposure.
Today has been a great day, celebrating our children. As we all know, it's a day set aside yearly to celebrate our children, to honor them, and to also encourage them to be good ambassadors as we look up to them as future leaders for tomorrow. Use this opportunity to tell parents that going forward, they should try as much as possible to always bring their children to such events. ITV and Radio, we organize Children's Day yearly to celebrate our children and to also make them understand that it is good for them to mix up and interact with their parents.
It's a day to remind parents of their responsibility for proper upbringing of children. It's the day, to also remember the vulnerable ones, to put smiles on the faces of the downtrodden children.
Some of the students expressed satisfaction with the celebration and applaud ITV and Radio for organizing the event.
It was actually fun and it was challenging, and it also helped me to build my confidence.
I feel very happy, very nice, very lucky, and I give all gratitude to ITV for inviting my school to participate in this wonderful Children's Day event.
Also speaking, some of the teachers expressed joy and gratitude over the array of activities lined up for the celebration. High point of the event was the presentation of gifts to winners of the various competitions. From Abuja, Augustine Innocent, ITV News.
And moving on, parents and management of Igbeneghu Education Center marked 2026 Children's Day with students and pupils at its premises located on Murtala Mohammed Way, Benin City. Joe Baisiagbo reports that the event created an atmosphere of fun and bonding as adults stepped aside to pamper the children.
The observance of the 2026 Children's Day celebration at Igbeneghu Education Center afforded parents the opportunity to interact with children, treating them to snacks, ice creams, and play toys. The relaxed setting allowed for in-school informal interactions between parents, pupils, and staff, highlighting the school's focus on family engagement in education. Some parents and students expressed gratitude to the management of Igbeneghu Education Center for organizing the outing, describing it as memorable and impactful.
Children's Day is a celebration where in the world we regard children not only as people who go for messages and stuff, but children also a gift to the world, and they make everywhere brighter. Thank you very much to the academic board for organizing this thing.
They are the future of every nation, so I want to thank them so much for this opportunity for us parents to just come and shower our children, lavish them with love, and it's a privilege. So for the school to take this initiative to set out a day such as this for us to just come and show them some more love, because we do love them already. It just shows that the school, they are very thoughtful, they are very considerate, they are very sensitive.
We're having fun. I'm having a pretty great time, but also I've bought some stuff that is really nice.
Thank you very much for having us, for allowing us to have this beautiful day.
Happy Children's Day to all the children in Nigeria. It's a nice one. It will make them to enjoy themselves. Like my children now, they are coming to select what they want to buy. The school is doing so well. They are good. Let them just keep it up.
It's beautiful to know that the school can put this together. Children's Day, usually it's a work day, but we as parents have to create time to try to come, to make sure we spend time together. You can see all the kids, they're all having fun, there are things to buy, so it's beautiful.
Director of Administration, Pastor Mrs. Angela Igbinedion, commended parents for making time to attend despite their busy schedules, pointing out that their presence made the celebration more meaningful for the children.
On behalf of Igbinedion Education Center, we really do want to appreciate our chairman, Chief Gabriel Igbinedion, our deputy chairman, Lady Cherry Igbinedion, all management and staff that were on duty today to ensure that our Children's Day was well celebrated with our children. I also want to especially appreciate our parents who came even from outside Benin to make sure their children were celebrated. Our children are gifted, they've done well, and we needed to encourage them for the next session ahead.
From Benin, Joy Obaisiagbon, ITV News.
Chief Judge Igemi Ehato, the Obasogie Nemo Honore of Benin, has formally intimated the people of Ohove and Ogbeson communities on the directive of the Oba of Benin for him to oversee the affairs of the communities. Joe Obaisiagbon reports that the move follows the suspension of the Enigi of Ohove and Ogbeson by the Oba of Benin.
Addressing the gathering of elders, community leaders and stakeholders in Ohove and Ogbeson at his residence, Chief Judge Igemi Ehato, the Obasogie Negawonoye, said the palace priority is peace, serenity and happiness of the people, and assured them that atrocities linked to the former Enige, including allegations of sales of lands to multiple buyers, would be addressed.
Lórí aláwọ̀dá ò lórí development ayálẹ̀ orí ẹ̀màyà ìnáyíkẹrẹ àbí.
As part of steps to restore order, Chief Obasogie Ehato set up a verification committee to look into land disputes.
Aka set up a verification committee. Ana itawe na la na subowo. Yenaka bankan no kan ojo. So ndoni ono wa okawo e ma akawa constitute na. Na mi we e na zeyo with immediate effect.
Verification committee. Anyway, we are assuring you we will work for the benefit of this
I'm very happy for this special committee they have constituted, and I want to thank every one of them, especially the chief that hosts them, and I thank the Oba of Benin. With this committee, I believe I will be able to get justice because I'm one of them that have been victimized by taking my land from me in Ohove.
From Benin, Joy Obaisiagbon, ITV News.
And still on the news, there was excitement and jubilation at the palace of the Oba of Benin as children from different parts of the kingdom gathered to celebrate this year's Children's Day with His Royal Majesty Obaewari II. Usemudia Mosagi reports that a colorful event featured music, dancing and games as children, accompanied by their parents and guardians, turned out in large numbers for the annual celebration.
As part of activities marking the 2026 Children's Day celebration, the Oba of Benin hosted a special party for children at the palace in Benin City. Representing the Oba of Benin, Chief Osaigovo Osawonyi, the Akenua of Benin, alongside Chief Victor Igbineweka, the Osayuwa Oba of Benin, advised the children to remain disciplined, respectful and dedicated to their studies in order to become responsible leaders in the future.
When you go to school, take your studies very seriously. Omonoba wants you to do your assignments. Obey school rules. Omonoba wants you to respect your parents. In the morning, you will wake up, go and kneel down and greet your father. Good morning in your language.
The event featured various entertainment activities, including dancing, games and refreshments for the children, while palace chiefs, parents and other guests joined in the celebration. Some of the children expressed happiness over the rare opportunity to visit the palace and celebrate Children's Day in such an atmosphere of fun and excitement.
I'm happy to be here. I am so happy I came here. This is the first time I am coming to the Oba Palace. I am so grateful. I thank the Oba for organizing this party. I am here to say how happy I am to be in Oba Palace on Children's Day. I am happy the first time for me to enter Palace.
From Benin, Osemdamel Sage, ITV News.
And that's it on ITV News for this time. Thanks so much for watching. I am Harry Aigbo J. TMI Socials is up next. Please stay tuned.
ITV, certainly the best.
Happy holiday. Good morning. This is TMI Socials. I am Anuoluwakwo Stevens. So better still call me a social media butterfly. Now, yesterday apparently was Children's Day, and several Nigerian celebrities took to the street of social media to express outrage over the abduction of students in Oyo State, describing this year's Children's Day celebration as painful and heartbreaking. Among those who reacted were Tokema Kinwa, Paul Okoye, Ruth Kaduri, Patient Ozokwa, Mercy Eke, Taiwo Sobora, and Chiwetalu Agu took to social media to demand the safe return of the abducted children using the hashtag Bring Back Our Students. Let's have a feel of how it went down on the social media streets yesterday.
Today's Children's Day, but there's absolutely nothing happy about the day. In fact, it's completely miserable. Over 40 people were kidnapped in Oyo State, most of them children, nursery and primary school children. Just so you understand how young these kids are. They can't be with their families. Their families still do not know where they are. The last image that their families have of them are of them being tortured, being flogged. These guys have recorded themselves torturing these children. They recorded themselves beheading a teacher. Our government hasn't done anything. As usual, they'll make the announcement, yeah, they are making efforts. Ah, man. And you know, the most infuriating thing about this entire thing is, as all these things are happening, these guys are campaigning. These guys are campaigning to be re-elected. To be re-elected on what basis? To come back so that more people can be killed?
You know what today was supposed to be like? Today was supposed to be like Happy Children's Day, yay! And then a combination of Salah, amazing. It's supposed to be a day where we see a child represent all the children and becomes the governor for one day, sit on the seat in the government house. That's how I grew up. I grew up being able to go to school. We went to a public school, and I could walk from my school to my mom's office, my mom's school. My mom owned a school. I could walk from, I was in Ibadan Boys High School. I could walk from the school to her school. When I went to Alliance School of Science, the same thing. I could walk around Ibadan. I could jump fence, leave school and go around. I could do things freely. It's not the same anymore. And it's very heartbreaking.
It's Children's Day, but the children are not here. And this one is messing with my brain. I'm looking at my child, and God forbid she's taking it from me. Like, my brain is unable to process that. I join.
Still currently a sad one on the street of social media. Let's get reactions and days. Well, just be informed that President Tinubu has said they are going to return. Let's keep hope alive and pray. Now, this user says, this is really heartbreaking. I have never felt this hurt considering anyone being kidnapped, but those abducted children really hurts me. Another user on Instagram wrote, children should be worrying about homework and dreams, not kidnapping and violence. Our children deserve schools, safe streets and safe future. The government must do more to protect families and learning environment. And they went on and on and on. Well, still on the story, this user says, okay, well, away from that, now let's talk about another controversial issue on social media. Hashtag VDM, hashtag bio, currently trending online, as the presidency has called for social media influencer Martins Vincent, popularly known as Very Dark Man, to face legal action over the circulation of an alleged fake audio involving President Bola Tinubu. While Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, made the call in a post on X yesterday. Now, in the viral video, VDM used the alleged leak audio to urge Nigerians not to support President Bola Tinubu's re-election bid in 2027 polls. Anyway, let's take a look at how the drama played out.
About to play. After you people watch it, we can't decide whether on a shrine they don't take cook on our mind. All the people who won't support Bola Ahmed Tinubu 2027, we can't know whether they don't cook your mind. So you know go get sense. Or on a deal okay.
Whichever way, by all means necessary, you must have electricity. And you will not pay for estimated bill anymore. A promise made will be a promise kept. If I can't keep the promise and I come back for second term, don't vote for me.
Well, sadly, this is not the audio I wanted. In that audio, President Bola Tinubu, now it's alleged to be a deep fake AI, where the president was talking about the 2027 election and saying he also allegedly spoke to Peter Obi to step down, but he hasn't decided, he doesn't want to. So let's go to the polls and see how it goes. And Bayo Onanuga reacted to it and saying they are going to, take legal actions on VDM. But let's get tweets and reactions and see how you took this online. Now, this was the tweet from Bayo Onanuga yesterday, where he says that this VDM needs to face the weight of the law for being the conveyor and disseminator of a fake audio of President Tinubu. This is a clear case of an egregious abuse of social media platform. Okay, well, Nigerians reacting to this wrote, the WhatsApp voice note of BAT that Very Dark Man just played can land him in serious trouble if the federal government decides to investigate who sent it to him. RFI just left prison for the same matters of national security. Well, still on the story. Okay, I think that's all we have on that story. Now let's move over to talk about politics. The crisis rocking the APC, the All Progressive Congress, deepened as the Iyaloja General of Nigeria, Mrs. Folashade Tinubu-Ojo, yesterday called for the disbandment of the influential Justice Forum and mandate movement groups over alleged manipulation of the party's primaries. Take a listen.
We are one family. We are for APC. Now they are using Justice Forum and mandate.
because our candidate, the incoming governor of the state, belongs to the Justice Forum. Yes. They are now canvassing. Everybody everybody is now dumping and joining.
Well, reacting to this story, like it's tweet and reaction. Let's get tweet and reaction to this one. This user wrote, why is she the leader of the Women's Forum? So they want to make Nigeria look as if she belongs to Tinubu's family. Okay, another user on this beat says, wow, this woman just beat my imagination. I have seen her handle market issues, especially when Cairo market was newly opened, but she is more brilliant and articulate than I anticipated. APC should listen to people like this, find a way to settle with her without any delay. Alrighty, on that note, we wrap up TMI Socials today. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I am Anuoluwapo Stevens. Happy holiday. See you next week.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
Well, I have a feeling things are about to change.
The new season of the hit series Wura is coming to Africa Magic.
You didn't say.
Here's everything you need to know about the woman